Hey teammates, happy Wednesday. It's April 29th, and I hope you guys are in the middle of a great week. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to play a rhythm game. Now, on yesterday, we discussed how we have different notes that have different values, and value meaning what number of beats it has. So if I want a note to last 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to write a whole note for 4, almost wrote it backwards, for 4 beats. Remember, a hole just looks like a donut hole, right? The hole in the center of a donut. Now, if I wanted to have a sound for 2 beats, I would write a half note. So if I wanted it to be 4 beats and then 2 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then whatever comes next. If I want something to last for just 1 beat, pretty quick note, I'm just going to write a quarter note, and then I might want 2 sounds for that beat, which are going to be 1/8 notes. Now, if you want to think of these 1/8 notes as each being half a beat, that's fine, but we're going to always have them in pairs for the purpose of today. We'll have them in a pair, meaning 2. So if we're doing it in pairs, then you can think of that as 1 beat, but just know that it has 2 sounds. So we are going to add in one thing. So since we talk about how these notes, the shape of them just tells us how long the note is held out. And so it doesn't really show us if it's high or low, if it's loud or soft. It really just shows us when we're supposed to play it. So if I wanted to have silence, there's a rest for each of these. So if I wanted 4 beats of sound, let's say I'm going to play a chord, I'll have 4 beats of sound. I'm going to use a whole note. 1, 2, 3, 4. But if I wanted it to be silent for 4 beats, then I would have a special rest that it looks different, that shows me that I'm not supposed to play for 4 beats. So the only rest that we're going to add in is going to be our quarter note rest. So I'm going to write it at the end here. Now, a lot of times I'll have you guys go shh for the rest, where you kind of whisper it, it's just to remind yourself that you're not supposed to play on that note. It looks like this. Anytime you want to draw a quarter note rest, I think zig, zag, zig, C. So I go zig, zag, zig, and then I draw a C. So if you just draw a squiggly line, that wouldn't, it'd be kind of meaningless. Like maybe a musician who's trying to read your rests wouldn't know what to do. But this quarter note rest is also worth 1 beat. So this has a beat of sound. This is a beat of nothing. Or if you want to remind yourself, you can go shh. So here's our game. We have a die. So you've probably heard the word dice before, with the numbers on them. I was really hoping I had one laying around the house, but I don't. But one of the interesting things I think about myself, I really, really love board games. So one of my favorite board games, Cranium, has this thing that kind of looks like a dice or a die. If it's 1, it's called a die. If it's more than 1, it's called dice. It kind of looks like a die, but it's different. It doesn't have numbers on it. It has 5 colors. So what we're going to do is we are going to have, we're going to assign a color to each note, and we're going to make our own composition. So we want to have 16 beats total. So here's the code that I made. If we roll a purple, we're going to have a whole note. if we roll a blue, we'll put a half note. Green will be eighth notes. Red, quarter note. And yellow will be a quarter note rest. And then I'll play it for you at the end. We'll just come up with it on our own. Now, what I am going to do, let's see. Ooh, I should have brought an eraser home from school, and I didn't. So that's not going to look great. But forgive me. So I'm going to draw 4 lines because remember, we're going to have 4 beats in every measure. So I'm going to write my time signature, 4/4. Remember that we look at that top number to see how many beats we have in the measure. We're going to use 4/4, and we're going to have 4 beats on each line. So here's my first measure. Try to draw a straight line. My second measure. There we go. Third measure. Fourth measure. Now at the end, remember I want to draw a double bar line because that means it's the end. We're not going to repeat this one. So I'll draw a line there. There we go. Okay. I think we're ready to start. So let's see. The only one that's going to be a little kind of weird is this whole note. If we roll purple, if we roll a whole note, I might have to push it to the next measure because this whole note is going to take up an entire measure. So let's say we're halfway through the measure and we're trying to figure out which note we put next. I can't put a whole note in the middle of the measure, and I'll show you why. I have a feeling that example will come up. So, you ready for our first note? Okay. Okay, so we have a blue. You can see blue is on top. So my blue is going to be a half note worth 2 beats. Okay? So I'm going to draw a half note. And I didn't write the numbers at the bottom like I did yesterday because they actually don't, they're not written on music. I was just trying to show you kind of where they line up. Maybe I'll write them at the bottom. Okay, next note is a red, so we want a quarter note. And maybe I can just put this here for you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay. Miss Gasway needs to clean off her piano. Ah! There we go. There. Okay. So red is a quarter note. So, so we have. Oops. We have a half note on beat 1 and 2 because it's worth 2 beats. On the third beat, we've got a quarter note. Now the next one either has to be a quarter note, eighth note, or the eighth note pair, or quarter note rest because it has to always equal 4. So yesterday when we did all the addition, like half note plus quarter note equals how many beats, it's kind of like that. Everything has to add up to 4. Because each line has 4 beats. So let's see if it works out. And if it doesn't work out, we can just roll again. Blue. So we can't use a blue. Because if we used, it says we want a whole note. But if we had a whole note, we'd have 2 beats. Or sorry, a half note. We would have 2 beats plus 1 beat plus 2 beats. 2 plus 1 plus 2 is 5. And we can't have 5. We have to have 4. So we could have 5 if our time signature said 5, but it says 4. So let's try rolling again. What's red? Quarter note. Great. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. So that equals 4. I think we're good to keep going. I'm going to move along a little quicker so we can see what this sounds like. Okay, blue. Okay, starting out with a half note again. And then purple. So purple, is a whole note. So since this is for beat 1, well, I'll go ahead and write the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So since this is 1 and 2, my whole note is 4 beats, so I can't use a whole note here. So I'm just going to finish out this measure with with beat 3 and 4. We're going to roll those in a second. Since I rolled the whole note, I will put it here. And then that lasts for 4 beats. 1, 2, backwards writing is hard, 3, 4, okay. So that means in this third measure, I can't have any other notes because it equals 4. So 2 plus 1 equals 4. 4 plus 0 equals 4. Let's see what else we can roll for the end of measure 2. Another whole note. Another whole note! We can't use another whole note. Okay, green. What's green? Ooh, 8th notes. Interesting. So, I'm going to draw my 8th notes on beat 3. Okay, yellow is a rest. So, zig, zag, zig, C. Okay. So far, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have to figure out our last measure. It's coming along. I like that second measure. Okay, let's see. Red is a quarter note. Okay, quarter note. I wish there was like a board behind me that I could figure out. Oh, that was an accidental roll, but we'll keep it. It's green. So, looking good. Got 2 more to go. 8th notes again, green. You can see. Okay. 1, 2, boom. And then our last one has to be worth 1 beat. So because we have 1, 2, 3, and on beat 4 we either have to have quarter note rest, or 8th notes because they're all worth 1 beat. Because again, we have to equal 4. So here, I forgot to add this one. We have 2 plus 1 is 4, so we're good there. Let's see, moment of truth. Yellow. What an interesting way to end. We've got a rest at the end. Okay, so, and then we have 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4. So we have 4 beats in every measure, and it lines up. So let's see how this sounds. I'm going to see if I can figure something out. Okay. Maybe I'll 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and rest. That sounded pretty good. I'll put it up here for you to see. So we're going to start up here. I'm going to see if I can read this backwards. My computer projects it backwards, so it looks super weird. I'm going to do my very best. Okay, counting here. Try to clap it with me. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and shh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and shh. I think that worked out pretty nicely. So yeah, it's just kind of a fun way to put a little rhythm composition together. Normally when people are writing music, it's super intentional and they're like, okay, I need an eighth note here. I want this to sound a certain way. This was just writing something by chance. But it's a fun way to practice your note values. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a great week and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.